Hey guys, Loco here, bringing you another YouTube exclusive content. We have NALCS starting right up this Saturday, so why not do the classic tier list? So everyone loves tier list at the moment, like tier list is the new hot thing, so let's do it. So first up in tier S, we have Team Liquid. Wow, what a surprise. So Team Liquid put on an extremely convincing performance at MSI, beating out IG. I know their finals was disappointing. I know, wait, they went 4-6 in groups. Maybe it wasn't a convincing performance. They had a performance at MSI. North America has not had a performance in MSI since like 2016. So, oh my gosh, we did something. Let's go Liquid. Yeah, they're still the de facto team to beat. They're still the #1 team in North America. I mean, if you talk about their weakness, their only true weakness as a team is kind of their limitation as a team in terms of playstyle. They're still a very much bottom-focused team that goes into team fight more so than a 1-3-1 split push, which is incredibly popular and still meta right now. But they're so fucking good at their team fighting style that, yeah, they are able to beat international competition with it, so they shouldn't have any kind of problems in North America. Yep, tier S, Team Liquid, only team that deserves tier S right now, pretty simple. Now, let's go to tier A. And first up in tier A, we have my favorite team of all time, TSM. TSM put together a surprising final appearance last split. Honestly, if you asked me before the split started, I don't think anyone would have said TSM finishes top 2. I think a lot of people had TL or C9 finishing up there, and yeah, they were able to go to finals and almost beat Team Liquid and got reverse swept. So this split, one thing that is changing up for them is Grig and Acadian will be sharing spots. A lot of people are kind of confused on why Grig is coming back since Acadian was a good jungler for TSM. I will want to give Acadian pretty much all kind of credit he's due. He did put on a great performance that split, but I still do think Grig is the better jungler. Just what Grig was able to show in summer is still very promising for me. And going forward, even though they are sharing spots, I do think Grig will become the starting jungler at the end of summer split. And that's going to make the team better overall. Another question is, how's Zben going to do after that disastrous Game 5 performance on TSM in the finals? But it doesn't really matter if you have a disaster performance if you can bounce back from it and your teammates can still trust you, and TSM still feels very brotherhood-like, and I don't think anyone's going to be pointing fingers at Zben, so I think they'll be fine. They're the first team in my tier A. So second team in my tier A is C9, our international hope. So for C9, they did the same thing they always do. They boot camp right before the season starts and got an early head start on things, and I think they'll be great. Pretty controversial, but I think if you freeze time during when playoffs started, I still think C9 is the best team in North America. The way they lost to TSM was an internal explosion, in my opinion. I've never seen Zazel play that bad in a best of 5 series. Licorice Game 5 tank also kind of meh, and Niski getting outperformed by Bjergsen. Niski is going to be better this split, and I still do think C9 will get their shit together and be good. Yeah, they're probably the most well-rounded and the most flexible team in North America. I have high hopes for this team this split around. Now, let's go to tier B. The first team we have is Golden Guardians. So Golden Guardians is a really hard team for a lot of people to grasp because the way they started and the way they ended up was so different. So they started 0-4 last split and they ended really strongly, and they were a pretty good contender in the playoffs. The big problem with them initially was they couldn't find an identity, and once they realized Froggen can 1v9 if you give him certain champions, that became their identity. They are very much a Froggen-based teamfighting team. Their weakness comes from Deathly, who's great in lane, but is not able to carry his weight in teamfight, so that's why Froggen has such a high damage share, because Deathly doesn't do his share in teamfight. So that's kind of their weakness. Their AD carry is great in lane, but doesn't really hold up in teamfight. I'm sure Deathly will develop, and I'm also sure Golden Guardians will just be more cohesive as a team because they know their identity this time around. It's Froggen, please fucking carry us to the promised land. So yeah, Golden Guardians, a team you should definitely be watching out for. Now we have FlyQuest. So FlyQuest is in a weird spot in my opinion. They did make a roster change. They brought on Wadid from formerly G2, formerly Rogue. It's a really weird pickup in my opinion, but we won't get too much into that. They just didn't really upgrade, and they're pretty much where they were last split. And last split, they got a good head start on all the other teams because they were very functional as a team at the start, and no one on the team is really causing problems. But they won't have that head start this time, and I also think other teams are going to improve more so for the summer than FlyQuest. For FlyQuest, they do have developing players like JJ and Viper. I'm sure they will improve and the team will get somewhat better. It's just other teams have huge holes in their lineup, which they either fixed or they're working to fix, and I'm not too excited about FlyQuest. But I was wrong about them last split. I had them at like 8th and they ended up finishing 4th. So yeah, this team is going to get better slightly, but I just think other teams above them got better and the teams below them got better too and are closing the gap. So let's go to Tier C. And both teams in Tier C, CLG and 100 Thieves, are kind of recovering from the disastrous spring split they had and fixing the huge fucking problems that were on the team. So first up, CLG, they upgraded top lane. Like simple, like straight up, Darshan wasn't a good top laner for CLG. From his performance and from what I heard, there were a lot of internal problems on CLG, so hopefully switching out Darshan for Ruin will fix those internal problems. And also, they have Pyre Evil. Pyre Evil almost one-man carried Optic into playoffs in summer. If Pyre Evil can do that, why can't CLG as a team with Pyre Evils with better players around them make playoff? That's my big question. So yeah, CLG, you got rid of Darshan. Now you have a Korean import, which you should have fucking done in spring split, but you did it nonetheless. Late, but better late than never. So yeah, I expect this team to be better. So there is a lot of criticism going towards Walden, but when you think back on the teams that Walden has head coached before or coached before, it's been usually championship level rosters like G2 or TSM. And this time he's not coaching a championship level team. So we're really getting to see his worth as a coach. For spring split, I think we can kind of give him a pass. The team itself and the roster he was given wasn't the greatest, but for summer, you better be making playoffs. You upgraded, you have a pretty well-rounded roster. I just don't see a reason why CLG shouldn't make playoffs. Like, they just should not fail. They should be one of the old guard teams, like, competing for a championship. CLG, get your shit together. Summer split, let's do it. Now we have 100 Thieves, the sickest merch in the game, and used to be one of the top tier teams in 2018, but in 2019, yeah, 10th for spring split. Yikes. Yikety yikes. So their old mid and jungle duo, Huhi and Onda, they got rid of both. Huhi is nowhere. He's actually playing for a team. It's just not announced yet. Onda is the academy jungler, and now they have Soligo and Amazing. So Amazing, a player I coached before, and I have a lot of good things to say. He is more of a veteran player. You're not going to get the flashiest mechanics from him, but he's a great shot caller and he's a good facilitator, and he brings system with him to whichever team he goes to. I mean, he fucking brought Schalke to finals. Like, this guy is legit in terms of being able to be a backbone for the team, and this team seriously needs some backbone. So Amazing, great pickup in my opinion. For mid lane, they brought in Soligo from their academy team. North American mid laners competing on LCS stage. Yeah, this is not a recipe for success in my opinion, and I do think this is a huge point of the roster that is going to be very targeted by other teams. So I am extremely worried for Soligo. He did look great in academy, and the games he had on stage the last split wasn't terrible. It just, as a North American rookie, you're competing versus like highly experienced, highly skilled imports in mid lane. So yeah, this is going to be a tall order from Soligo. But if you look around on rest of their roster, other than mid and jungle, top lane you have Someday, bot lane you have Afro Bang. This roster definitely can function. It's just going to be up to Soligo to step up and yeah, do well. Like, just look at the top lane and the bot lane for this team. Like, the three players like Bang, Afro, Someday, if you just look at these three, you're going to think this team would be contending. And I definitely think this team can at least make playoff, and that's the goal they should be shooting for. Let's make playoffs. So the last team in Tier C is probably going to be kind of a surprise to you guys, Echo Fox. So I'm not very high on Echo Fox, and I really don't buy their performance from last split. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. Echo Fox did play well, but I think they're a volatile team that overperformed and kind of got by because of how terrible some of the teams played toward the end. Like Team Liquid kind of going on their Vayne weekend where they just had absolute garbage games, and Echo Fox took full advantage of like other teams kind of faltering. I just don't really believe in this roster. Phoenix, Rush, I don't think they're the best imports. I don't think they're very consistent as imports. And Apollo Hakuo, while they are solid, they're just that. They're just solid. And the same thing for Solo up in top lane. They're just a solid team that overperformed in my opinion. It's just so fucking weird to take credit away from Echo Fox because they were a very scrappy team and they put in so much work and they made playoffs and you wanted to root for them. But if I take a few steps back and I look at this team, like who's the real carry on this team? Like what's so special about this team? And a lot of it is just meh. Like there's nothing really special. Their team is just there. Like at least they're not like Optic clutch status where their team is imploding, but they just have a lot of middling players and no star prospect and just kind of mediocre import. So yeah, I'm so meh about Echo Fox, and that's why even though they made playoffs, they're in the same tier as CLG and 100 Thieves this time around. Now let's go to tier D. So for tier D, we have Optic and Clutch Gaming. So Optic and Clutch both are like trying to get the fuck out. Optic, like there's that whole debacle with Infinite and like they're trying to sell to Immortals, and Clutch, they already kind of sold to Dignitas. So both these teams are kind of in I don't give a fuck mode. So let's start with Optic. Who is Optic? So Optic is like a Call of Duty team that bought into the League of Legends franchise, like with the whole green wall and all that jazz, but they kind of have no identity within League of Legends. If you think Optic, I think like Crown, Meteor, Stardock. I just think they're players way more so than them as a team. It's just, yeah, like what are you guys even doing? Like what is the future for this team? Like who are the NA prospects that they are kind of developing for next year, and who are like the long-term imports for this team? Is Crown going to be a long-term import for Optic? Like who's developing on Optic? Like Big, the support, Dokla, the top lane, Alorum, the other top laner? Like I don't know, man. I just don't really feel like Optic's going to do anything this split. I don't think they're going to make playoffs, and I also don't think they'll be part of the league towards the end. So yeah, Optic, I don't really care about you. And then last up, we have Clutch Gaming. Now this team is seriously what the fuck. This team like came into the league fucking hot. They're like, yeah, we love League of Legends, analytics, y'all. And then they suddenly like had a shit year, and then they're like, this year we're the fucking Cowboys. Yeehaw! And they made a lot of cute TikTok videos.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
Like that's what I think of Clutch, dude. LCS is starting on Saturday, and you guys kind of never announced Cody Sun as a starter. You guys just like slid him in there and then like made Piglet disappear. Like it's like you guys are ghosting Piglet or something, and Piglet's tweeting passive aggressive things in Korea. Like what is going on with this team? I said a lot of shit about Echo Fox and Optic, but Clutch, for you guys, like what the fuck are you guys doing? Why are you even here? I want to make a separate F tier for you guys, dude. Please. I hope you guys take a few games, but also I hope like the management gets their shit together. That's it from me. That's my tier list. It was done super fucking seriously. As you know, I'm right 100% of the time, 20% of the time. So this tier list, this is how exactly the split is gonna end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. It really helps. And also, I started a Patreon with Doran supporting our show called patreon.com/listenloco. Y'all know where it is. And also, if you go on your Spotify and iTunes and maybe type in Listen Loco, it might be up as podcast. Just maybe. Just maybe. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but it is in the works. And depending on what day this video came out, it might work. So type it in and check it out. One last thing, I'm not crazy. I'm just Loco. Bye ya.